Hi, Stampers. It's Diane Evans from stampingwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So if this is your first time joining me on YouTube, welcome. I'm so glad that you have found me. But make sure that you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. And by doing that, what will happen is that you do get notified when I upload a video. But if you want to get notified immediately, there is a bell down below that you could hit, and you'll get notified when I go immediately as soon as I go live, or if when I upload a new video. So like I say, welcome. I'm excited about today's card. This is a card that I have put into the international projects thing. And what this is it's not a competition, but you vote for your favorite cards. And by voting for your cards, those cards get, those demonstrators get to be put into another blog hop at the end of the month. So I hope that you will take the time to vote. But if not, that's fine too. I'm hoping that I can teach you a new technique. So I am using the expressions in ink today. And I am actually, I'm just going to hit this for a second here. Yes. So anyways, I am using the Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper, and I'm using the dies, the artistic dies. I'm not using the stamp set at this point, and then I thought afterwards, geez, I could have. But in any event, is this paper not gorgeous? And the thing is, once we get a new catalog, we forget about the old catalog, right? So I'm going back to this beautiful Designer Series paper. So we're going to be using this one. I love the color combinations with the early evening evergreen and the just jade. So those are colors that we're going to be doing. And also it coordinates with the gold. So we're going to be using the gold as well. So I have my cards here, and I'll show you some of the other things that I've used on here. I'm doing a thank you card, so I'm using the Best Year Ever. This stamp set also gets overlooked. It has some great everyday type sentiments on there. So I really like this. And so I'm going to be using this big one here, this thank you for all that you are. And also I'm going to be using the Stitch So Sweetly dies. These are such a versatile die, and I'm using this particular frame here up at the top, and you'll see that as we go along. And a few other things that I'm going to be using, and I will show you those as we go through it. So I have a piece, and I'll just bring out all this cardstock here. I have a piece of Evening Evergreen. It is 5.5 inches by 7 inches. And I've gone ahead and I've scored it at 4 3/4. Now, if you have a problem with that one, you could turn it and score it at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that into the mountain being the side that has the edge going up. And I'm going to come in with my bone folder. We're going to get a really good, nice, crisp edge on there. So just like so. And then I have some other pieces here. Basic white. I have the basic white for the inside of the card, and it is 4 inches by 5.5 inches. Now, you don't need to scurry and write down the measurements. I have the measurements all listed out onto my blog post, and there'll be a link to my blog post that is just down below on the video. Now, does that happen to you that this doesn't get primed? Just get it going, and then we'll get going on it. There we go. This is a new one, so I don't understand why it even did that. All right, so I'm just going to put this on the inside of the card. And this part is really, you have to put this down. So if you're wanting to decorate it, you're going to have to know that you only have this part from over here to decorate the inside of the card. So at this point, I would probably just use it for the writing because the thank you is big enough on the front. Now I am using Just Jade, and I have a couple pieces of the Just Jade. I have one piece that's going to go on the inside, or what we're going to be doing for the inside of the card. And then I also have this piece on the outside. Now I've gone ahead and I've used this Time Worn Type embossing folder. It's a 3D embossing folder. It is absolutely amazing, but it has print on it. So you want to make sure that you've got the print going the right way. So pick out a word, and then at that point see that it's going I think it goes this way. No. So you have to just be careful of which way that it goes. Now I also have some gold foil, and it's going to go onto the front like this. Now with this particular one, what I want to, I'm going to actually put the gold on first. I think this is the best way of doing it. Now this gold foil is 2.5 by 5 1/4. So we can go ahead and put that onto the front of the card. We want to make sure that we don't get any of that glue onto this foil. There's a way to get it off, but it sometimes takes the finish off of the card, so you don't want to do that. So I'm not going to actually put my fingers on here that much. I'm just going to use my bone folder, and I might have to just straighten that out just a little bit. There we go. Now this part is going to go on there, but before I put it on there, I have gone ahead and I've used my gold foil, and I've cut this particular die out from the artistic dies. Now I've done this ahead of time just because to save time, and it just barely fits through my mini cut and emboss. But another thing that I've done is on the back of this particular piece of gold. So I'm just going to use my, I'm just going to use my take your pick tool, the one that, and then there is a brush piece that goes on it as well. And I'm just going to take those off. And then also while I've got it off, then I can just sit and just brush this across here to get those other pieces out. However, I do have the adhesive sheets that I have put on the back of this. Because I'm going on an uneven surface, because I'm putting it on the part that the embossing is on, I want to make sure that it sticks. And sometimes with the glue, you have it, I call it oozing out all over the place. And we don't want that happening with our gold piece here. So what I'm doing is I am going to put this gold piece onto here. And I just want to get those pieces out. But when I take this adhesive sheets off, you'll see that it's going to gather some parts of that as well. So I have to decide where I want this to go on here. So do I want it showing there, or do I want it going? I really like this gold part. I mean, this particular rose on there. So I'm going to probably put it up towards the top. So like I say, I've got an adhesive sheets onto the back here. So I'm just going to take those off. You'll see when I take these sheets off, sometimes it gathers some of those pieces of the gold as well. There's a couple pieces that it doesn't have, so I just want to get those parts off. And then there's the other part. When you get these adhesive sheets, they come in strips, and that makes it easier to take these off. However, see how that comes right out, those pieces? There we go. So like I say, now at this point, I have to decide where I want and what I want to put on there. Now I see that I cut part of that off. So maybe I want to do it where it comes like this. I really want this rose up at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put that right about there. Bringing in my silicone mat because it is a little sticky on the other side. And I'm just going to burnish that down onto that piece. Now you see, I'm putting this on afterwards because what I'm going to do is I'm just taking a pair of scissors. Now, I don't use my good scissors when I do anything with glue on it. So I just am going to cut this off. And this is going to be very important for the next piece we're going to be doing. So this, like I say, is on there. Now we can go ahead and put it onto here, and it's not overlapping and it's not doing any of that stuff. Right, so just get that off of there. We're going to need that silicone sheet in a minute. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this piece onto my gold. Now remember, we don't want to go right to the edge of here. And the reason we don't is we don't want it to get to the point that it's going to ooze out onto the gold foil. Now remember, we have a way that it goes. And that's the way there. So I'm going to put this down and then just put it right there. And now we don't have that problem of it going over the edge or anything like that. So now we've got that part done. So let's do the ribbon trim sort of thing. So what I've got here is I have got 4 strips. I had 4 strips, 2, 3 of those. I should have one more strip. That isn't good. Well, let's hope that we can get this on here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Isn't that funny how you know that you have all those strips there and then all of a sudden it's not there? We may have to cut another strip. Now, these strips are 3/4 of an inch by 3 inch. So let me just grab that other piece and we can cut one. I did have it. It was sitting over there on my cutting part. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of Just Jade, and this Just Jade is 2 inches by 5¼ inches. And we're going to take our ruler, and we are also going to take a pencil, and we are going to go and mark this at 3/4 of an inch intervals. These are 3/4 of an inch wide by 3 inches. And then we're going to take our pencil and we're going to mark this at 3/4 of an inch intervals. And this part is really important because this is what makes it so easy to line everything up. And then we're also going to do that on the other side. And almost done. And those are actually, you're going to see that they're going to come off, or you're going to have those covered. So now what I want to do is I want to have the gold going down at the bottom. So I am going to line, and I'm going to show you this. It's going to line like this up to that part, right like that. So this is why I need to have the silicone mat below. So it goes from there to there. So let's go and just use our glue. I'm going to just put the glue on this part here. Like I say, we're going to line it up just like that. Whoops. Now we want to be really careful that we don't get any of this glue onto this gold foil. It does come off, however, from there down to there. So see, I've got a little bit oozing out there, so we want to be really careful. And then I'm going to do a little bit more here. So I'm not going to go right to the edge on this next one. So we're going to go from there down to there. And then we're going to go again there until there. All right, so we've got the first ones done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the second, or the ones that are done in the Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper. And now what we're going to do is we are going to go from here to there. So let's see. And like I say, you can get different looks by the way that you put this on. So this is going to go from now there down to there. I want to just make sure that I've got that going right. There to there, there to there. Bear with me here. It's going to go here down to there. So it's going to go from this one. Let me just put this on before. We want to make sure. You always double check, right? So I'm going to go from here to there. Here to there. There we go. So we want to go from that point right there up to that point there. And like I say, you want to be really careful that we don't get that gold onto, or the glue onto that gold. So there to there. Whoops, see, I've got that glue there and I don't want that on there. Trust me, it will make such a mess of my card. All right, so this piece is going to go from there to there. Let me just move this up. So from there to there. And this piece goes from there to there. And then while this is drying a bit, we're just going to put this off to the side. I am now going to get the label done. Like I said, I don't want to play around too much with that because we want to make sure that it works properly. So this is cut from, this is Evening Evergreen, and it is cut from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. I am going to do some gold embossing on it. So I'm using my embossing buddy. Remember, you can make your own embossing buddy by using an infant sock and some cornstarch. I'm coming in with my Versamark, and I'm coming in with that one stamp set. So let's just get that inked up. Notice I'm inking from the top down. I don't want to get any halos on there because if I have halos, what's going to happen is that's also going to go with the, it's going to pick up with the embossing powder, and I've already put it down, so we might have an issue with this because it accidentally hit down onto the, that's not too bad. So now I'm going to bring in my gold embossing powder. Stampin' Up! Some embossing powders come in the metrics, which would be the gold, copper, and silver. And they come in groups of 3, which is really nice and convenient. I put mine in these tubs because I find this works the best for me, especially when I was doing in-person classes. I was finding that people were getting it all over the place by doing it the old way. And let's see. And then I'll just bring in my heat tool. Now your heat tool has two settings to it. You want to make sure it's good and warm. And we're just going to, when you start with your embossing, you don't want to move it back and forth. That is what a lot of people have issues with because it overcooks. And then just move your paper. So see how this just goes. I think it's magic. This is actually the tip that got me going on stamping, or the technique. I just love embossing powder. All right, so we've got that like that. And now what's going to happen is that's going to go on here. So we're going to go ahead and put our dimensionals on this part here. And once we get this part onto the back of the card, then I can position this. There we go. All right, so let's see. We've got that like that. We've got that there. Now let's come back in with this piece here. Take it off of our mat. And then you're just going to go in with your scissors. You want longer scissors for this. Just like so. And then we're just going to put this across here. I'm just going to stick that right onto that mat. Just cut those down. My goodness, if you don't like glue, this may not be the technique for you. And then let's just put this across here. There we go. Now we can just get those out of the way so we don't have to deal with those anymore. And now we can go ahead and place this. And we are going to go ahead and place this right on this side there. So see the beautiful trim, the braided trim? So we're just going to put that onto the inside of the card. Just like so. We just want to hold that down for a second. This is quite thick, this part, because we've used the gold and the designer series paper, and then we also have it onto. But see how pretty that is? Like, my goodness. Now we're going to come in and let's take off our dimensionals. And we can just put that like so. There. And of course, what card wouldn't be complete if we didn't have the embellishments? So the embellishments that I'm using are the gilded gems. And let's put one. This is quite a big open space, so I'm just going to put one there. And then let's go ahead and I can put one up here, I guess. And another one we could just put down here in the bottom. Just like so. So there's my card. I hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, this is that the braided ribbon effect. It's using not only the time-worn type embossing folder, say that a few times, but it's also using the artistic dies and the beautiful expressions in ink paper. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions at all, just ask away. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you do live in Canada, I'd love to be your demonstrator. I do have a host code. There is a host code going across the bottom. And for people that do purchase with me, I do have a very generous reward program. Plus, I also give everybody tutorials. So I hope you enjoyed that. Give me the thumbs up. Leave a comment. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day, and bye for now.